Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay! Choo-choo!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Witzman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. All aboard the murder train, pulling away from the station. Let's do this. We have a crazy episode today, as usual, as it's usually a nuttier one that we pack into an hour. But today we're in West Virginia, so you are getting 100 pounds of dynamite in a 2-pound bag. It's amazing. You know how West Virginia goes. So very quickly before we get started, tickets on sale right now. Live tour 2023. We'll run down the dates at the end of the show quickly, but the first half of the tour is on sale right now. I think it goes right up to San Diego, and then I believe, or something like that. And then after that, it's Pittsburgh. I don't know, whatever. But and then the beginning of 2023, the rest of them will go on sale. Cleveland, St. Louis, the first two, they're going fast. Get your tickets now.
Yeah.
They're selling very fast, so don't wait on those. Definitely get in there. Shutupandgivememurder.com, merch, everything else there as well. In addition, you want to go to patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of your bonus materials. Anybody $5 or above, you get everything, the whole back catalog of bonus material. Every other week, you're going to get 2 new episodes, one crime and sports, one small town murder. You will get access to it all, of course.
Great.
This week for crime and sports, some crazy stuff, very fun stuff. We're going to talk about the ABA, American Basketball Association, and not about the league and all. We're going to just tell some very crazy stories from that era of guys doing insane things, 60s, 70s basketball. It's so much fun. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to get back into this. We talked about books and music being blamed for murders. Now we're going to talk about video games being blamed for murders. All the murders blamed on video games. This has been a big thing for the last 30 years, so we can't wait for that. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that and more. I'm telling you, the bonus stuff is worth it. And that said, I think it's time. Let's get right into this, man. Let's get cooking.
Let's dive in. Yeah.
I think it's time to sit back, everybody, clear the lungs. I don't care where you are. Forget it. Never mind keeping it under wraps.
Make it dangerous.
Shout it out the car window. Stand atop your cubicle desk and scream it to the manager's office. I don't give a shit. Let's all shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy, shall we?
Okay.
Let's go on a trip.
Let's go.
Let's go. We are coming from Mississippi on the Express last week, and we are coming up to West Virginia.
Yikes.
And oh man, are we in the hills this week, boy. This is Hensley, West Virginia.
Oh.
And you've never heard of it because no one's ever heard of it because these are just little speckle towns in the hollers up here, man.
Forgotten West Virginia.
This is crazy. This is in severe southwestern West Virginia, I like to call it. Right in the chicken's ass. If you look at West Virginia like a chicken pointed to 2 o'clock, it's right in the chicken's ass. It's about an hour and a half to Beckley, West Virginia, which was our last episode. The county that it's in, McDowell County, only has 19,000 people in it, the whole county.
The whole county.
In 1950, there was 99,000 people in this county.
Oh, wow.
That's what's happened to this place. So,
holy shit.
Picture what that looks like.
Abandonment.
Abandoned, dilapidated shacks on the hillside because it was a coal mining town. Right. And once all that went away here, it's just, it all fell apart. They left and everything went away.
80,000 people gone in 50 years.
It's crazy. It's insane. They just, it's abandoned the place. In 2020, McDowell County was the 3rd poorest county in the United States.
In the country.
3,143 counties this country is made up of at the time, and this is the 3rd poorest. So
shit.
This is bad. This is a bad
two
place.
In West Virginia also?
Probably.
Alabama,
probably one's in
Mississippi.
Mississippi. One's probably in the woods in Mississippi, and the other one's probably across the street in West Virginia. It is absolutely bonkers. The estimated number of people living in poverty at that point was 32%.
Of 19,000.
Living in poverty in this. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. It's absolutely, it's usually 11% in the rest of the country. So it's crazy. Population of this town, a cool 42. 42 people live here, Jimmy. And all the towns are like that. One's like 78, one's 36. All these little towns have less than 100 people in them. It's insanity. Median household income here, hold on to your hats. Everybody, put your shoes on tight so your socks don't get blown through them. $9,659 is the median household income here.
Yearly.
Household. Yes, median household yearly income. The average is
it feels
fucking.
Like you can scrap more than that. Right?
That is
$9,000 in a year.
That's like ginseng hunting. That's what that is. That's because that's what they do there. I've seen that
they
a lot.
Hunt ginseng?
Yes, to supplement the assistance payments they get. They go out and they pick ginseng and roots and shit like that. And there's some hillbilly that's taking the ginseng and selling them to these companies to make ginseng pills and all that shit. Yeah, so that American Hollow documentary covers this very well. A bunch of those people, that's how they supplement their income.
What the fuck, man?
It's wild. Median home cost here, $77,500. Which is nothing, but if you make $10,000 a year, I don't know how you afford that. I don't even know how you afford that. The motto of this town, and this is right on their website, and it's shocking that 42 people have put a website together, but they did. The motto is, quote, "Step outside. Yeah, because you can't afford a house, so just step outside because you live there now. Holy fuck. Wow.
They literally say, I'm outdoors now.
I'm outdoors now. Yeah. Come on out with us. It used to be, it's had several names before. First it was Claren, then it was Claren Station, then it was Hensley Claren, and then they just called it Hensley after that. Okay. So, yeah, you could see that. It became part of West Virginia in 1863 because it was one of the several Union-affiliated counties during the Civil War. Oh. Virginia broke into West Virginia and Virginia because of the Civil War. And
they were the ones.
A lot of it was West Virginia people were Union people, and a lot of the Virginia ones were obviously, Confederate because that was Robert E. Lee's place, for Christ's sake. So it was described by a lot of newspapers as the Free State of McDowell because it was basically an ungovernable. No one knew what the people wanted there. It was just a bunch of crazy son of a bitches that lived there. So they were like on their own. It's an interesting place. We'll just say that. By the first half of the 20th century, dominated by coal mining. In 1950, it was the leading coal-producing county in the United States.
In 1950.
Yep, 16% of the county's population was in 1950 was employed in the coal sector, and then it went downhill. And in 1960 they dropped the workforce from 16,000 to 7,000 people. It's a disaster.
And from there, it just started plummeting.
Yeah, John F. Kennedy, while he was president, or when he was running for president, was here in Welch, which is a town next door, a couple miles. He said, quote, "I don't think any American can be satisfied to find in McDowell County in West Virginia 20 or 25% of the people of that county out of work, not for 6 weeks or 12 weeks, but for a year, 2, 3, or 4 years." That was in the 60s, and it's only gotten worse. The rates of drug abuse, poverty is hugely high. Life expectancy well below the national average.
Wow.
This is not good.
And JFK was going to fix this. Thanks a lot, fucking Texas.
No one's going to fix this ever. There's no way.
No.
Unless you drop tell everybody there's going to be a bomb drop, so you have to leave. There's no way to fix it. They have to leave here. You can't live in the mountains where there's no jobs. I understand why they're there because the families were there because there was jobs, and now they're stuck there, so it's different. What do you do? That's why there's no fixing it.
Do they stay because it feels like home, you think? You think that's what it is, keeping them there?
I don't think they have you watch American Hollow, this documentary, and it's about this family that's stuck there, and one kid wants to leave and all this shit, and their basic thing is they're stuck there. They can't go anywhere, so they go like, I'll never go anywhere. This is my home. This is the greatest place in the world. Because what else are you going to say? I have no agency over my own shit. It's just mentally a better way to cope with it, I think. Yeah. And it's pretty country, but if you have no food, who cares what you're looking at?
If you look up and out, it looks great. Yeah. But when you look down and around, it looks like shit.
It looks like shit, yeah. The schools here, I found the rankings from USA.com have them a 1-star and 779th. I don't know what that is. So just terrible, the schools here as well. There's no reviews for this town here. So I found I made my own review of the town. Okay. This is what I would imagine your average review would be.
You don't think it's because they couldn't write?
I don't know if the internet gets here. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
3 stars. Not much to do in this town, seeing there's only 42 people. Oh, wait, Billy Joe just died of the black lung combined with scurvy, so 41. Dang. We used to go fishing together. Well, now there's even less to do in this town. I guess it's just me and Jim Billy at the old fishing hole from now on, unless the gangrene spreads from his legs that it's looking like it wants to. Anyway, nice town. People really care about each other. Update. Jim Billy just died, taking it down to 2 stars.
And 41 people.
And 40 people now.
40 people.
Things to do in this town.
He got gangrene stepping on a fishing hook.
That's what happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Around here. Things to do, go outside. That's it. There's nothing to do. The only thing I could find even close to here is the Appalachian series. It's like a jog. Run thing. This is day 6. It's in a bunch of little towns all over the South.
Multiple days of this shit?
In different places. They'll do one. It's basically part 6, not day 6 is how it should be. But no time limit. They have a no runner left behind policy and will happily stay until the final finisher crosses the line. Walkers are always welcome.
Because what else are we going to do?
That's what I mean. We got nothing going on. Shit. There you go. So there's what's to do. This town is bonkers, obviously. Yeah. This is fucking crazy. So that said, let's talk about a murder if we want to even get crazier. You know?
It's gonna get there with this kind of lifestyle happening.
This is
how long till a murder happens?
That's what I mean. This is why we set the tone with the town stuff, because you have to now. You know the people that live here. You can you know who they are, and you need to know who they are to understand this story and understand how it goes. So it's different here. Like if anyone's listening and like you're sitting in like England or Australia or something, it's so different here. You have no idea. I can't even explain this to you.
They are missing imperative body things like teeth or eyes.
I was going to say like eyes and things like that. And it didn't get taken out in a fight. They weren't born genetically. It just done fell out one day, and they don't know why. I lost it. I don't know what happened. That's the type of weird shit that goes on here.
I misplaced my eyeball.
I'd misplaced it. So we have to go back to 1988 for this one. So not any better, basically, at that point in time. It was still, the population had gone to basically nothing, and it's been kind of the same since the late 70s. So February 16th, 1988. Well, post-Valentine's Day here.
Oh, yeah. It's all just wearing off.
It's all wearing off. The afterglow. You're still in the afterglow of Valentine's Day. Let's talk about a man here. Paul David Thompson is his name. Paul David Thompson is 34 years old here in 1988. He was born in Davie, West Virginia. His parents are Lydia and Jess Thompson, and they now live in Tazewell, Virginia.
Which one's his mom?
Lydia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his dad Lydia and his mom Jess. Yeah,
it's interchangeable.
I don't think Lydia's interchangeable. Have you ever met a man named Lydia?
I don't think I've met a man named Jess. I guess Jesse is a man's name.
Yeah, Jess. Jess is. Isn't that?
It's short for Jessica, but also Jesco.
Also,
White.
That's what I mean. Jess. They call him that. Jess is a. No, a lot of they got to shorten it though. Hillbillies can't call you Jesse. It's got to be Jess.
It's 2 syllables, man. Get to work.
Nope, Jess. But then they'll add another name to it. Jess Bill. You'll be Jess Bill. And you're like, wait a second. Why not just Jesse? Just use the whole name. Nope, Jess Bill. So Paul David Thompson here. Paul, he is employed by the Gilbert Lumber Company. That's where he works here. He goes to the old Baptist church once in a while. Yeah. But he's also, his life is a little more complicated than that. His life definitely is West Virginia also. He has a job and things like that. He also has a wife and a daughter as well here. He's got a daughter. Two of his daughters, 2 of his kids died.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, his daughter and then his son, Paul Jr., also died.
Yikes.
So, and we're talking in the 80s. This isn't like, pre-penicillin and shit, and it was like, oh, no, the kid got the,
This isn't 1880. Things happened back then.
Got the dropsy and died, like, that's not what happened.
The horse kicked him in the head, and 6 days later, he died.
These children probably died of West Virginia, which is sad. It's fucking sad.
That's depressing.
That's depressing. He's got a wife named Elizabeth and a daughter named Deborah Sue, who's still alive. So I don't know about now, but she's still alive in 88 anyway. She's hanging on by a thread, but she's around. I'm sure she's very ill. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure she's got some sort of terrible...
Lost an ear.
Lost an ear. It's just like an environmental thing. Well, what happens with the coal mines is after a while they just deteriorate and degrade in the ground, makes your ears fall off up above.
Your DNA kind of mixes with a dog, and dogs
it's
shed,
a strange
and
thing.
Your body just starts shedding things like ears and eyelashes.
And part gecko lizard because you grow them back though. That's the thing. Takes the ears a while to grow back, but they grow back.
It'll regenerate.
They do grow back. Now, Paul has like 6 brothers and sisters also.
Really?
Yeah, and those are the ones that were alive. So I don't know how many he must have had before that. Would they start with 18, 19 to get to 6 in this area?
That's so many kids, man.
It's so many kids in West Virginia. He lives in Westchester, West Virginia, which is right near this town. Yeah. All these little towns are just these little hollers that really should all be one town probably, but they're just these little specks of 50 people that around. Right. So it's a couple miles down the road. So Thompson, I'll give you a little background on him now that that's over with here. Let's talk about his February 16th, 1988.
What did he do that day?
Well, he spends a lot of the day in the company of another man here. We'll talk about. We'll get to how he gets here, but he ends up hanging out with a guy named James William Smith, who's 28, and I'm absolutely calling him Jim Willie. So
I was thinking Jim Billy, but same thing.
I don't know why Jim Willie popped into my head.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because they already know a Jim Billy. By the way, my review, I think I named the guy Jim Bill, didn't I? The other guy, I think it called him Jim Bill, the second dead man, Jim Billy. So this is Jim Willie over here. So Jim Willie, he's going to hang out with, but Paul David Thompson, earlier in the day, before he ends up with Jim Willie, who's 28, he gets in a huge argument with his wife. Now,
as you will, yeah.
As you will. I don't know. I say a huge argument because I'm trying to put this into perspective of how big of an argument you'd have to do this, what he does, okay? Now, this can't be like a small thing. Are we going to go here? Are we going to go there? What do you want for dinner? You got in an argument with the kid's teacher. It can't be one of these things because this argument deteriorates into, or not even deteriorates, it swells into, by the end of it, Paul is in the front yard outside of the trailer, of course, standing in the front yard, just firing his shotgun into the air. Into the air. So angry, the only way to express it is through gunpowder, and you need to expel bullets and buckshot and fucking pellets into the air.
Talking to me like that, I'm gonna waste shells.
Fucking bitch, fucking son of a. What the hell kind of argument escalates to that?
What'd you call me, buckshot?
Have you? We've both been divorced.
Yeah.
At no time in any of the arguments I had with my ex did I ever want to grab the nearest firearm, head out in the front yard, and just shoot shots into the fucking air. That is a different level of.
Is that frustration or is that anger or is it a combination?
Is he not good at talking? Maybe, and that's the way he expresses himself.
Use your words.
Not ba-boom, ba-boom. They're my words now. Just, I don't know what's going on, but wow.
That's got to be a scene. And he's got kids in the house.
Oh, there's kids. Yeah, there's kids. Well, one of them. The other two are dead. Now I'm starting to say it's starting to be less of a mystery, probably, what killed these kids.
Perhaps some of those bullets came down.
if every argument causes gunplay in the front yard, you can't. It's a numbers game.
A kid or two. Yeah.
It's a numbers game. Eventually, something bad's going to happen, is all I'm saying.
Fuck, man.
Imagine being his neighbor, too. It's Paul outside the trailer shooting again. No, they must have gotten an argument, and you go back to TV. Let's see what's on the Family Feud.
7 a.m. Jesus,
what the
Paul.
Fuck? Yeah, this is like early in the day. This is like, mid-morning this is going on, which doesn't seem like enough time to build up that kind of animosity, but... Either way, that's what goes on. And he ends up calling Jay Willie over here, Jim Willie. I don't know if he calls him. I don't know if there's some sort of holler, like some.
He heard the shotgun.
That's how he calls people. That's his bat signal.
Yeah.
Boom. Paul's arguing with his wife again. I better go get him.
That was 3 rounds. I'm on my way.
That's 3. If it was 4, it's for David. Now, that's our other friend. If it's Davey, that's 4 for Davey now.
5's an emergency. We all go.
5 means, any emergency personnel in the area. Yeah. We know how it works.
5 is an emergency, and he's out of rounds. We better hurry.
1's just having a good time.
That's a birthday.
2 means I got to kill this man. And 3 means I'm fighting with my wife. Pick me up to go fishing. That's what that means. So he does. Jim Willie picks him up, and they take off.
Jim Willie's 28, and Paul's 36.
34, 28 and 34.
Fascinating.
There's only 42 people here, so I mean...
Yeah, I guess it's close.
Anything in the ballpark.
10 years either direction?
your taste doesn't matter. 10, 20, who gives a shit? Anybody who does anything slightly close to what you do, you hang out with them, because when there's this little people, you don't really have a choice. You're imagine what the dating scene is like.
Well, I don't want to.
I don't know. Well, she's got a head. I guess that'll do. Last girl didn't even have a head on her. She's just wandering around bumping into walls and shit. So,
what's your last name again?
Yeah. Now, hold on. You ain't from the ones from that holler, are you? Because that's, oh, shit, we can. Never mind.
We can't do it.
We can't do it. So, as they leave, they take off. The wife now, Elizabeth, Paul's wife, she also takes off, not to follow him, to go to the magistrate's office to swear out a warrant for his arrest for...
She can do that.
General domestic fuckery, I would imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine there was no violence inside the house if outside the house there was gunfire in the front yard. You know? He had to have done something in there.
Yeah, it rarely starts in the yard.
And it's I don't know, rather threatening to go out into the front yard with a high-powered weapon and start fucking bucking shots off while you're arguing
reckless,
with someone.
That's for sure.
It's definitely like, oh, wow, I bet this fight better end now type of thing. So
that's involving the neighbors for sure.
That seems abusive. And so when Paul David Thompson enters Jim Willie's car, first thing he does, old Paul Thompson, pulls out a bottle of Valium.
You betcha. Valium.
Got a bottle of Valium he pulls out, and he shakes it, and obviously that gets Jim Willie's attention, Boone County Maton call and all.
Yeah, his dick starts dripping.
So there's another guy in the car, too. I don't know his name, but there's another guy in the car, I assume, sitting. I don't know what seat they're all in, but they're there. So Paul hands some pills to both the man in the passenger seat and to Jim Willie, too, the driver. I mean, he done picked him up. You should share your pills with him. So he shares his pills. Paul Thompson's an epileptic, and Valium's one of the medicines prescribed to him to control his epilepsy. I know nothing about epilepsy or medicine, so I assume there's probably a better medication now, because this was 35 years ago. But
I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor, but the epilepsy
really?
Epilepsy is
Jesus Christ,
I imagine overactive firing of the brain. So a Valium seems like that would be logical.
That's there's nothing logical in medicine, though. That's not.
The other point is, you're probably right.
Sounds a lot right, but who knows?
But it also treats fucking anxiety. So who knows what this shit is? If he is prescribed this, or if he's just doing it.
Yeah, apparently he's prescribed this. He has a bunch of medicines prescribed to him for his epilepsy. Apparently, prescriptions. So. Yeah. The three of these guys drive around for over an hour and take more Valium.
Oh.
And this is all while they're consuming what's described as sizable quantities of beer in the court documents. Now,
you want to slow down.
By West Virginia, McDowell County standards, that was probably a lot. I feel like this is a
sizable feels like more than we're capable of.
More than we're capable of. And if you add Valium to the mix, too. I don't think you're supposed to mix those two, right? That doesn't seem like...
You probably shouldn't, but...
It's probably fun for a little bit, but...
One drink, maybe two.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a pretty solid white girl Wednesday night.
Probably not sizable quantities, though. No. While you're driving, also, probably isn't a great thing. Yeah. I love how everybody there goes out to drink. They go out to... I'm going to go drive around and drink for a while. Every case we cover in the hills, they drive around to drink. That's an activity. Let's go drinking and driving tonight. All right.
I watched plenty of it as a kid, but it wasn't going. We weren't driving. It was just we happened to be driving, and this person behind the wheel is an alcoholic as well.
You're on the way somewhere, and an alcoholic is driving. That's different than
what it is.
What do y'all want to do tonight? I don't know. Drive around and drink. All right. That's what goes on here. This is nuts. This is fucking nuts. So they're drinking, they're driving, they're taking pills. So a little bit later, when they're done driving, or I guess when they're tired of driving, they stop on by to Fan Rock. Fan Rock is the town, which is another close area, to the home of Johnny Cook.
Yeah.
Johnny Cook, who's a friend of Paul's. So Paul said, we can go to Johnny Cook's house. Let's do that. So while they're at the house, there's like a party going on. I don't know if it's a party or just a normal Tuesday afternoon.
It's probably always a party there.
There's people there drinking. Now, judging by just hanging out drinking in the yard and shit, so that could be a party. That could just be like when we did groundhog for breakfast.
Yeah.
there was a bunch of people at 10 in the morning sitting in a parking lot drinking, and they all had homes. And they all had homes, these people.
Right.
So it could be that. Either way, Paul gets noticeably shit-faced at this party.
Well, he's also on pills, so it's probably... Yeah. And he's been drinking the whole ride there, so it's probably happening fast.
He keeps doing it. He keeps fucking drinking. Jim Willie gets 2 more Valiums from Thompson as well. Huh. It's been like 2 hours since his last Valiums, but he's going to take these on top of the booze. So Paul Thompson is overheard telling Jim Willie that Jim Willie owes him money for the pills that he gave him. By the way, I've been giving you a bunch of pills now all day. You do owe me money. They're not free, you know.
Those are not donations.
Those are not free. So they leave the party, the 2 of them, just Jim Willie and Paul. Uh-huh. They leave the party, and they travel in the direction of Paul's trailer. They're going to drop Paul off. While they're on the way, their car, Jim Willie's car, passes Paul Thompson's wife and daughter in their car. That's how small it is around here. They pass each other on the road all the time.
Well, she's going to swear out a warrant.
I think she might be coming back from swearing out a warrant or going somewhere else because she swore out a warrant a couple hours ago. Okay. So if you got to swear out a warrant on your husband, things have gone awry. Yeah. So they pass in another car. They stop cars to talk to each other. They get out of the car. That's the other reason. There's nobody on these roads. You can just get out of the car in the road and talk to people, which is crazy. The exchange is allegedly a heated exchange between... Which makes sense. They were in such a heated fight. He's got gunfire going off 2 hours ago. You know, the magistrate's been notified.
Right.
During this whole thing, some violence breaks out among the trio of the mother, daughter, and the husband, but not in the way you'd expect. Maybe he hit her. Maybe the wife slapped him. Maybe he hit his daughter. No. His daughter hit him. Okay. His daughter beat him up. That's what happens
had
now.
Enough of his shit.
She punched him in the face, causing his nose to bleed.
Oh, my God.
In the hills of West Virginia, 16-year-old girls can throw a punch, period.
She rocked him.
Yeah, she fucking threw a punch at him, yeah. It's like, God damn it, that knocked out that feller at the bar last week, too. He ain't going to fuck with me neither. Pow.
Oh, the shame. He is having an embarrassing day.
Just can't get out from in front of himself here. He just
truly, he's tripping over his own feet every step of the way.
His daughter has beaten him up now. His only living child has beaten him up.
Popped him in the nose. Jeez.
Popped him in the nose and made him bleed. So that's wild. Both of them will later deny that happened, by the way. Oh. Okay, the women will deny that happened. So,
but somebody says that happened.
Somebody says that happened. Well, Paul tells somebody, and also Jim Willie also will end up saying that happened.
He saw it, yeah.
So he
ain't gonna let you live that down.
No, he's like, I just saw his daughter kick his ass.
Is that your baby girl? She smacked you.
That's a good punch on her, I'll tell you what. You done taught her well, anyway.
You raised a strong one. Bet you wish you hadn't.
I know, right? Shit. Jesus Christ. I think whatever happens in her life, the daughter's going to be okay,
She's going to be fine.
She's going to be fine. So that I'm good. I'm happy about. So at that point, Jim Willie drives away there. It was about 9:45 p.m. That they drove away. So this has been all day. They picked them up in the morning.
Day.
Drinking and pilling and everything. Now, Jim Willie says about 9:45 p.m., he let Paul out of the car about 20 feet from Paul's trailer. Just parked outside. Paul got out. Yeah, I'll see you later, and went inside. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So Jim Willie says that he drove to a local convenience store and got some gas. Just going to the town store there, and he met
some cash back, sir.
He's gonna
Pay me back from my bills.
No shit, right? You gonna stop and get me some? So he meets a guy named Tommy Brooks there. He doesn't meet him; he knows him, but he runs into him there. I should
Hangs
say.
out with him for a sec. Yeah.
So, well, for more than that, they end up chit chatting, and like I said, not a lot of people. If you run into anybody, you just see if they want to hang out, because what else is there to do?
Want to spend some time?
So he does. Brooks, he says, you want to come back and hang out and drink some beer? So Brooks says, sure. And they go back to Jim Willie's house to drink some beer together.
Wow.
What a day. There's a lot of beer drinking, but I get it. So while going to Jay Willie's house, he apparently, Jim Willie runs into Thompson's wife again, Paul Thompson's wife again. Yeah. So this is twice now, and the daughter as well. And told them, I dropped him off at the trailer because they're like, where is he? I want to take another shot at him. My left hook is feeling itchy. And he's like, he's at the trailer. No, he's back at the trailer.
I got a little ADD. I can't go to sleep without hitting him twice.
I need to hit him again, damn it. One more thing I want to tell him. So Jim Willie and Brooks, the guy he hung out with at the convenience store, they drove on to Jim Willie's house, and they went over there to hang out, right, and drink some beer. At one point, Brooks, after they're drinking a while, asked if Jim Willie would drive him back to the convenience store. And, will you take me on down to the convenience store back there? Because I guess that's his base of operations.
That's my home.
Yeah. I don't think he has a car. I think he was just hanging out there, and he's like, well, I guess I'll go back and hang out there more.
Holy shit. Which
is interesting. So on the way there, Jim Willie stops at the top of Hensley Mountain to take a leak. Okay. This is the top of a holler is what it is. So all these houses up the holler, and then it's up there at the top to take a leak. Now, at that moment, Brooks heard Jim Willie open the car's trunk, heard like the hatchback open up, and turned to see. And if you know a hatchback, an 80s hatchback, you pop it open from the front seat, you can see out the back like a little SUV, essentially, on a hatchback. So he turns. And when he turns, Brooks, the other guy, when he turns, he sees Jim Willie with a bumper jack in his hand.
Yeah.
So, big fucking metal jack thing.
The big fucking lumberjack.
Yeah, he's got one of these big jacks in his hand. And so Brooks says, what you doing? Well, fuck's going on? I thought you were pissing. What are you going to, change a tire now? What are you doing? So Jim Willie said that he was, quote, throwing out the garbage.
Okay. I'm
throwing out the garbage. And then Brooks got out of the car and walked back to where Jim Willie was, and he was like, hey, what's happening? You need some help? Or, I don't know, I'm just sitting in the car in the woods. And he said when he got there, the bumper jack was nowhere to be seen. Jim Willie didn't have the bumper jack anymore, and it wasn't in the trunk. So, It's gone. Apparently the garbage was the jack.
This thing doesn't work. I had to piss. May as well throw this out.
Yeah, which is a strange thing to do. While I'm pissing, let me get this piece of equipment out of my trunk and throw it out. So while this is all going on, as they went to the house, Brooks and Jim Willie, they passed Paul's wife we were talking about, right? So Paul's wife saw, I guess, Paul's wife ended up seeing Jim Willie's car at a distance as it traveled toward the railroad tracks at one point, all right? So during all this, at some point, Jim Willie's going toward the railroad tracks, and Paul's wife sees this.
Okay.
Everybody can see everybody and run into everybody. This is the smallest place ever, and this is different towns. That's how close they are.
Cameras, and you can still get all the footage.
You get everything. Yeah, you just stand somewhere.
Yeah.
So she assumed that, it's probably because this is before she hadn't seen Paul yet back home. So she assumed, it's probably Jim Willie and Paul. They're probably, I'm sure, going to drink at the softball field.
Yes, you do.
Because, when you're a 35-year-old man with a home and a wife and a child, you go to do your recreational drinking just at a softball field with your buddy.
Can you imagine? What
the fuck kind of life is this? What is this? Let's go pretend to be winos and hobos. All right. You want to jump a freighter afterwards? Sounds good. You make a bindle.
It is nice getting fucked up outdoors is so fun. It's so great, but it's kind of illegal. You know what I mean?
You're going out in public to drink.
You can't be on public property drinking booze.
Yeah, let's just go down, and it's nighttime. Let's go down to the softball field at night and get shit-faced. What are we, 12? Yeah, I have a house. I bought lawn furniture for this very occasion.
Yeah, when I was doing that, it was because I wasn't allowed to have it, and I had to do it sneakily.
We were hiding when we were drinking outdoors. Hiding. That's what that is. You're either hiding or paying a lot to camp or something. Yeah. One of the two.
Maybe that's why it's exciting as an adult, because it feels fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it's a sense memory probably.
There's too much of being an adult that this is legal. I don't like the legality. I got to break the rules.
Yeah, I got to break the rules. Now, she and her daughter, looking for Paul, were like, "Well, we'll go to the field." Like I said, they're hunting him down. I don't know why they're trying to find him. Yeah. I don't know if they're trying to find him to tell him he's going to get arrested, or if they're trying to. Whatever it is,
or whatever, yeah.
They're trying to find him. Mm-hmm. So when they drive to the softball field, mom and daughter here, they see the railroad tracks, and lying across the railroad tracks is Paul, and he's dead.
He's already dead.
Dead on the railroad tracks, and he looks like he's been through the ringer a bit. I mean, it doesn't look good. So he's dead that's how they find him on the railroad tracks, dead, from what they say. So that's their story. Now, listen to wow, you punched him good, honey. You got some kind of right cross on you, darling. Jesus.
You hit him in the nose and he bled out.
Holy shit. Now, how did he die is a good question.
It's a great question.
This is fucked up. Okay. Prior to him being dead, and I only know this because he was alive, so he must be, that's everything prior to death is
generally alive. Yeah.
Alive. He was found by other people who were walking the railroad tracks drinking. This town is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
He was found unconscious on the railroad tracks, lying on the railroad tracks by a few people. Yeah. Okay? He's listen to how he's placed, how these people found him. On the tracks, lying face down with his waist area like over the one track, so his ass is like sticking up in the air. You know what I mean? Because the track is under it.
There's a lump there, yeah.
And his pants are pulled down to his ankles.
Face down, ass up, and ass up.
Face down, ass up on the railroad tracks. This sucks. That's what's going on right now. This is
fascinating.
So what? But he's unconscious but alive. Okay?
He's breathing.
So this sounds like how you would find like a prisoner who's been,
or a man that stumbled trying to take a piss,
and then fell over,
and then just fell over, and his pants come down,
and his pants fell down, and exactly, one or the other.
Yeah.
So these people approached him, to go, is that man alive or not? When they approached him, he couldn't move. All he could do was make gurgling sounds.
That's a death rattle, my friend.
He's making gurgling sounds, and he's got a big gash on his head, and there's a pool of blood visible on the ground. So
let's get out of here, y'all.
This looks terrible. So these passersby, these people go, oh, shit, we better help him. They leave him on the track and run to call for help. They didn't just grab his ankles and pull him off the track while they were there. They were like, fuck, don't move him, Jesus. So they ran to get help. While they're calling the cops going, there's a man on the track, the fucking train comes by.
No!
And runs Paul over and fucking hits him. Imagine being on the phone going, hi, yeah, is this the police? Yeah, I would like to report. Never mind. Click. Like, what the fuck?
I would like to report. Too.
Oh, shit.
Y'all better hurry.
I'd like to report an unconscious, dead man on the railroad tracks. I mean, the man's dead. I'm not trying to, but that's fucking crazy.
That is, and that's
how much of an asshole would you feel like?
Do you credit that to like when they always tell you don't touch the body, but like.
Yeah, but barring off the tracks if he's alive.
Right, barring a life-threatening situation, get him the fuck off the tracks.
Well, if they're alive, touch them. Try to save them at that point. Don't just go, well, he's going to die, so leave him be. Try to save him if he's alive. If he's dead, don't touch him. That's when you don't touch him, But if he's alive, Christ,
but
pull him
he's
off
gurgling. I don't want to move him. I don't want to move him and make it worse.
Yeah. So you leave him on the train track? Imagine how that felt being on the phone and you just hear the fucking train horn. That has to feel like you got into a van and you're sitting in the back of it and you just realized, oh, shit, there's no candy in here. That's the same feeling you have to have at that moment. Fuck, I fucked up bad. That was a bad. I should have probably done that instead of where I went wrong.
There's no candy.
And fuck is that?
Where are all your windows?
What's going? Oh, wow. Oh, that's nice. You got. Oh, handcuffs are fun. Oh shit.
Handcuffs, no candy. It's dark in here.
It's real dark in here. Why is that? This Kool-Aid is making me feel it's making me feel like tired, but also like. I don't know, like my butthole's open more. I don't know what. Is that a thing that happens from Kool-Aid?
My feet are asleep. I can't move them. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, that's not good. So that's what these people fucking left him on the tracks. He's hit by a train and killed, and then his wife and daughter find him.
Found that after that.
That's how they found him. Pants around his ankles, hit by a train.
Oh,
which is not even your daughter who punches you. I'm sure it's not how you'd like your children to find you dead.
They likely found half of him with the pants down.
That's
right?
what I mean. He's in bad shape. So that's what's going on there. Now, Jim Willie later that night, after he dropped Brooks off and everything, he's taken out the garbage, thrown the bumper jack away. He drives to the home of Edward Lane Jr. Ed Lane Jr. Jr. here, Ed Lane, said that they arrived Jim Willie, about 10:10 p.m.
Okay.
He knew. He looked at the clock, 10:10 p.m., but insisted that repeatedly, apparently, that it was 9 p.m. That's what he kept saying. It was Jim Willie kept telling him it was 9 p.m. It's 9 p.m. He goes, it's 10:10. I'm like, I got a watch on. He goes, it's 9 p.m.
Maybe there's a clock right there.
Look. Yeah, who you gonna trust? Big timekeeping or your friend?
What is that? Big quartz?
We could trust Big Swiss? No, you ain't gonna trust that.
Trust Big Time X? I don't.
No, I don't trust Big Swatch. I'll tell you right now. You trust your buddy. I know what the moon position is. It's 9 p.m. son bitch. Your clocks are bad.
10:10.
And Edward Lane Jr. also said that Jim Willie was nervous and, quote, not satisfied about the stated time. Like he was acting all jittery, and then like when he kept saying it's 10 o'clock, he wouldn't accept it as 10 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, he kept saying. Like,
see,
okay.
That's a. I see what he's trying to do, but the more you say it, the more I remember this.
The more I remember you saying that. Yeah. Exactly. If you wouldn't have said anything, and then later on you said, I got there at 9, he'd go, I thought it was 10, but who knows? But if you kept saying it's 9, you went, I looked at my watch 14 fucking times. It's 9 fucking 10. So about midnight, a trooper, a police officer, M.A. Smoot is his name.
Wow.
Trooper Smoot contacts Jim Willie around midnight and talks to him. He finds him and knocks on the door and talks to him and takes a statement from him because Paul Thompson's dead, and the wife said, well, last I saw him, he was with Jim Willie. So the cop went, well, I'll go talk to Jim Willie, see if he knows anything about how he got a big head wound on it and
bisected.
And bisected by a train. So while Trooper Smoot is talking to Jim Willie, he notices what appears to be blood stains on Jim Willie's pants and boots. Mm-hmm. Now, in this area, that could be anything. Who knows what that could be? I mean, you never know. Your kids die every other day. Who knows? Yeah. One of them got taken in a thresher, blown up in a mine.
He also had a friend in his car with a nosebleed from his daughter.
Yeah, that's true, too. So the cop requested, hey, can you give me them shoes and pants so we can, make you look make you look nice and innocent in this whole thing. So he notices that, asks him to hand over, and Jim Willie says, no, I'm not giving you my pants and boots. Hell no, these are mine. Yeah. That's all I got. So you can be walking around in my underwear. So after talking to the trooper, Jim Willie goes back inside, changes his clothes, and comes back out, but not like to give him his pants and shoes, just comes back out and has the intention of visiting. He's going to walk across the highway to visit his in-laws who live right across the road, of course, obviously. Okay. Yeah. At midnight, he's going to go visit his in-laws, shit-faced and on Valium.
Yeah.
Hiding pants from an interested police officer while your friend was killed on the train tracks. This is so West Virginia, this fucking whole thing. So he says, I ain't giving you nothing. Fuck you. My pants are inside and you can't have them. You ain't got no warrant. I'm leaving. And he starts walking across the street to go to his in-laws' house. So Trooper Smoot waits until he takes 2 steps out into the road and goes and arrests him for public intoxication. That's a public road there, Jim Willie. Can't be drunk on that, buddy. Now you're coming down to jail. So that's what he does. He takes him into the police barracks where he's processed, and then he's there for 7 hours before appearing before the magistrate, which is a long time. There's nobody else here. If you get arrested, they just take you right in because it's not like this isn't fucking New York City where they have a docket that's lined up and they have to have night court.
That's a fucking shift of work, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, it is. So after he appears before the magistrate for his public drunkenness, he's taken to the hospital, the Welch Emergency Hospital, and the records show that Jim Willie had a raised bruise on the lower part of his chest and a ruptured left eardrum.
Huh.
Almost like he's been, hit or something. Yeah, in a fight of some kind. They also indicate that Jim Willie complained of soreness and explained it to the doctor. They said, well, what happened? How did all this happen? That he said he'd been hit and kicked by the police officers. Okay. He said, the cops beat the shit out of me. That's how this happened. So after treating him, the physician there referred him to another physician who is an ear guy, basically an ear specialist. And it's for the ear injury. And he said that it was this doctor, his opinion was that it was freshly ruptured, just happened that day.
Brand new.
It's brand new rupture. This isn't an old thing. They said that the rupture is consistent with being hit, with an open fist, he said, which I don't know what an open fist is.
That's a slap.
That's a slap. I don't know if you have your hands. An open fist makes no sense. That's
getting your ears boxed.
That's an open fist? What is that?
Open fist is a slap, right?
It's like a closed slap.
Otherwise, it's a bear paw.
Yeah.
if you ball them
that's
up,
what I was doing.
Paw.
You put your hands in there.
It's got to be a slap.
I guess.
Why do they say it like that?
But if you hit him, pocketed him on the ear, that could tear the eardrum. They said that the injury was not consistent with, because the cops will later say, well, he had an ear infection. That's what must have done it. And the cops say or the doctors say that this rupture did not come from an ear infection. It was definitely a contact wound. It was a pressure thing there. So now Jim Willie's parents, they'll say that they saw Jim Willie shortly after the police released him for the public drunkenness, and that he was bleeding from the mouth, had dried blood on his nose, and that when he combed his hair, chunks came out.
He got his ass kicked.
He got his ass whooped. So they said what happened, and he said he was beaten by Trooper Smoot, Trooper Steve Cox, I mean. That would be amazing if his name was Steve Cox. Trooper Smoot, Trooper Steve Cox, and a civilian friend of Trooper Smoot. Just some guy that was hanging out there like, you want to kick his ass too? His name is Doug West. Hey, Doug, you want to whoop this guy's ass? Come on, it's fun. Come on in here.
Smoot, what are you doing? Oh, can I get a lick?
Let me pop him on the eardrum. Pow, there he goes. So literally, they beat him. He claims that they let their friend beat him up too, who's not even a cop.
The town joins in.
Just some other guy who hangs out. Holy shit, West Virginia. This is the 80s, not the 20s. What's happening? He claims that he asked to see a lawyer numerous times, but that the police officers refused to allow him to call one. And the cops deny using force at all, and they say he never asked for a lawyer. That's their
We
thing
never
here.
put our hands on him.
Now, during his, quote, processing here, as they apparently beat him and questioned him, allegedly, he gave 2 statements to the cops. In one of those statements, he admitted to being an accomplice to Paul's murder.
Oh, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, he admitted that. He claims later on, though, he only gave the statements only to make the cops stop beating him. So it was, you can beat a confession out of anybody.
I suppose.
Remember Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
When Chris Penn walks in, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, you're going to get him to admit to lighting the Chicago fucking fires. It doesn't mean he fucking did it, though, does it? Yeah, you can torture a guy into saying anything.
Oh, he's cutting ears off and shit.
Yeah, make that stop. You'll say anything. That's what happens all the time. It's not a good technique. So it's a good way to get him to lie to you. Get what you want to hear. So he says that. And then he also said after he was released, Trooper Smoot returned to his trailer and went inside. And he said at that point, Jim Willie gave his bloodstained trousers to Trooper Smoot, I guess under some sort of threatening cloud. So the next day, early the next day, Jim Willie returns to the house with Trooper Smoot and retrieves the trousers and the fucking boots or shoes. And the blood found on the pants and boots was consistent with Paul Thompson's. Consistent, not DNA, same blood type. And so the next day, this is the same day, the day after the murder, Brooks, the guy who was in the car with him when he took out the garbage, he called Trooper Smoot and told him about the bumper jack. He said, I saw him with a fucking jack saying he got rid of it, and then he got rid of it. And, and then you hear about Paul Thompson had a big gash on his head hanging over the railroad tracks. So, that could have been made by a jack. So that's what they're talking about. So they said Brooks said, I know the area of where he put it. If you want to come, I'll help you take a look for it.
Watch out. The underbrush is soaked with piss.
That's all piss right there. So they go to the location where the car was stopped and they find the bumper jack. They actually find it. And Trooper Smoot said that there was blood and hair particles visible on the jack.
Oh, my God.
But none were found by forensic experts. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if they handled it poorly and knocked it off, or if he's full of shit. Who knows? We don't know.
Or if Smoot wiped it off because that's gross. We just want the jack.
Ew, gross. I could use one of these. Mine just broke. So the doctor, the state's medical examiner, said that Thompson's cause of death was injuries he received from the impact of a train, obviously. Mm-hmm. They said one wound, a laceration over the right ear, appeared to have been inflicted prior to the train impact. So that's the gash. He also said the position of the body on the tracks was inconsistent with an epileptic seizure as well.
Yeah,
so
you rarely lose your pants in an epileptic fit.
thinking maybe he's taking a piss, has a seizure as he's saying, but he said that's not what happened here. That's not the case. He was whacked on the back of the head and fucking went over. Somebody probably pulled his pants down to make it look like he was taking a piss and got hit by a train. Yeah. That's what it seems like. So they charge him with second-degree murder, Jay Willie. Jim Willie gets charged with second-degree murder here, based on the guy seeing the bumper jack, the laceration over his ear, and the blood on his and a little bit of blood. Yeah. That's consistent with the other guy.
That's
not a DNA match. Case. Yeah, and a confession. They do have his confession.
Yeah, they do have him saying that, yeah.
But he's going to definitely say they beat that out of him.
Of course.
So, but the trial is pretty, I mean, they make it sound like he's a monster, open and shut. We got a confession. Here it is. This is what he told us. It's open and shut. They come back on March 18th, 1987, with a verdict of guilty of second-degree murder. So, guilty of second-degree murder. He's sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 5 to 18 years in jail.
What?
It's pretty light for second-degree murder, right?
You just murder people and get maximum 18 years?
Fuck. He could do 2.5 and go home. That's crazy. It's almost like the judge was like, I'm not sure he did it, so I'm going to hedge my bet. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a God-fearing man. I don't want to go to hell for giving this man too much.
I don't think this boy did this. So, or maybe he did, but shit, he covered it up pretty well. So he's going to appeal it, obviously, on insufficient evidence. He says the state's evidence is wholly circumstantial, and they said to the statute says, or they're talking about the statute of the Supreme Court, talking about it now. We've held that to support a conviction in a circumstantial evidence case, the state's evidence must exclude every reasonable hypothesis of innocence. It's almost, if it's circumstantial, it's almost like you need a huge pile of circumstantial. Yeah. It can't just be one thing, one person, It has to be a giant pile of circumstances equals physical evidence, a fingerprint, a DNA match, something of that nature. So they said the weight of the circumstantial evidence is a question for jury determination, and whether such evidence excludes to a moral certainty every reasonable hypothesis other than that of guilt is a question for the jury. That's a way to put it. They said, we find in applying these standards, the evidence in this case was sufficient. Under the state's theory, the motive for murder was theft of Thompson's Valium pills. So under the state's theory, though, is that he owed money for 4 pills, and he just said, fuck it, I'll kill my friend so I could take the rest of the bottle, which is a very short-sighted murder. But that's that's what they put forward, that he wanted those Valiums so bad he's willing to kill his friend for it. That's literally their case.
That's your motive, and that little evidence, and you're going to convict a man. I guess that's why you give him no time at all for it.
That's tough. They said evidence also connected the defendant to the time and place of the discovery of Thompson's body. Stains of blood found on the defendant's boots and trousers were consistent with Thompson's. Testimony by Thompson's wife affirmatively placed the defendant in the vicinity of the railroad tracks at the time of the death. That's the other thing. She saw the car, so she went over there, and then he was laying there. So he probably did do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Why else are you throwing out your jack?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you just stop in the piss and throw out garbage at all.
Yeah, he did do it. I'm pretty 99% sure, allegedly, but I don't see how you can convict on this evidence.
That's crazy.
This isn't a court's worth of evidence here. So he said testimony by the wife. Also, furthermore, the weapon presumably used to strike Thompson was shown to be in the defendant's possession and disposed of by him under suspicious circumstances. So there's that. Now, he also says ineffective assistance of counsel. He says, first, the counsel failed to move for the suppression of certain statements made by him to the troopers, and second, failed to move for the suppression of his bloodstained pants because they didn't have a warrant. According to Smith, they beat the shit out of him for a few hours, got a confession. Then he basically took him, the trooper basically took him back to his house by the ear and made him give him his pants.
Yeah.
Warrant free. So that's his assertion here anyway. So Trooper Smoot took a statement from the defendant immediately prior to his arrest and 2 further statements within a few hours afterwards. In none of these statements was mention made of Thompson's bloody nose, a fact used by the defendant at trial to explain the presence of blood on his boots and trousers. So we don't know if his daughter really punched him in the nose or if that's just his explanation, or if most of this evidence, a lot of it's coming from the wife seeing him. Maybe the wife and fucking daughter killed him, and who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know. It's probably him. I'm going 95% Jim Willie.
The daughter's saying and the mom are saying that she did not punch him?
Never punched him. That's what they're saying.
This guy's saying he did. Okay.
That's how the blood got on him.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. In cross-examination, the state brought that up to him, like, why didn't you say that at first? And he's like, oh, I don't know. So that's the thing. He didn't bring that up till trial. So he didn't figure out a way to account for the blood.
How can I make him leak?
Yeah, how do I make him leak? Oh, his daughter punched him. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
Which was really a terrible story anyway.
It's a bad call, yeah.
And they also said why he wouldn't sign any of his statements. And he said, because none of his statements are signed. When you write a statement, you sign it.
Yeah.
To show that it's you that fucking made the statement to police. Right. None of them are signed. And he said none of them are signed because Trooper Smoot physically coerced them out of me, so I'm not signing them. I told him this. He wrote it down and told me to sign it, and I wouldn't sign it. So there's that. So they say, quote, ordinarily we would not inquire, this is the appeals court, into the tactical trial decisions by lawyers in criminal cases because lawyers face difficult choices during trials. We will not find ineffective assistance of counsel because 20/20 hindsight shows a lawyer's choice to have been the wrong one. This case, however, involves no such choice, and no is underlined, which I never see in these. They're like, it's serious. Mr. Smith's trial lawyer did not move to suppress the bloodstained pants at trial. The state suggests that this was an appropriate tactical decision. Huh? Question mark. That's in the court document, Jimmy. That's the court's judgment. They wrote that. Huh? Huh? Question mark. And they wrote this in the 80s. This isn't like, huh? Like it's some sort of social media response.
They really don't understand why they would do this.
Why wouldn't he call this? The state suggests that this was an appropriate tactical decision. Huh? The state claims that Mr. Smith's trial lawyer wanted to have the bloodstained pants admitted. I'm going to say it. Huh? Why the fuck would the defendant want the only physical evidence there is against him to be in the trial? What advantage would that be to him? Wow. He said that they wanted to have the bloodstained pants admitted so that he could use them as a part of an elaborate explanation of the evening's events, one part of which was the victim being struck by his wife or daughter, causing a nosebleed that dripped on his pants. So that's what they're talking about. But it'd be much easier just to not have the pants in there at all. Then you have no blood to explain.
With a crazy story.
Then your only thing is, guy saw me throw out something that I didn't want anymore, and that the wife, who would be, I guess in this case, would be the other suspect, quote unquote, saw me by the railroad tracks. That's the only evidence otherwise. No. So they said in the determination of a claim that is accused, that an accused was prejudiced by ineffective assistance of counsel, he says court should measure it against all this. We find that a lawyer with the normal and customary degree of skill would have moved to suppress, and in this lawyer's failure to do so, it was not harmless. Okay. Now claims he was beaten into a confession as well. Trooper Smoot testified that he did not think he needed to get a warrant for the pants because of Mr. Smith's, quote, voluntariness. The court says, while Trooper Smith does know the proper buzzwords to use, we question how voluntary Mr. Smith's release of the pants could have been after 7 hours of, quote, processing.
Right.
So they're saying, did they beat the shit out of him and go, now we're going to go down to your house and get them pants, boy? And he was like, okay.
I'm very voluntary about it.
It's super voluntary. The trial court also found that Mr. Smith's confession was voluntary, the original trial court, and that even if this is what the trial court said, even if it was coerced, its use at trial was harmless error. That's what the trial court originally said.
Holy shit.
Courts do not allow the use of coerced confessions in trials. We have not. This is like 1910 Mountain Justice, and this is in the 80s. We have not developed such a rule to protect those guilty of crimes, but to protect those innocent of crimes who may be wrongly suspected. If coerced strongly enough, even innocent people will confess to crimes.
True.
Beaten in a room. Much of the evidence offered in the circuit court was provided by interested parties. The wife, this other guy who's also possibly a suspect. The police officers had strong incentives not to admit to beating the defendant, and the defendant had an even stronger incentive to claim that police officers beat him. So how do you believe either of them? The objective evidence, however, strongly supports Mr. Smith's claim. Mr. Smith was uninjured when taken into custody at midnight. He was with another guy, remember. He wasn't injured. Totally uninjured when taken into custody. But the next morning when he was taken to the hospital, he had cuts, bruises, and a ruptured eardrum.
Yeah.
They beat the shit
They
beat the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. The state claims that whatever the police officers may have done to coerce Mr. Smith into making statements does not matter because these statements were used only minimally at trial. To me, they're the whole everything.
The
confession.
Thing. Yeah.
Although coerced statements may not be used by the prosecutor in his case in chief, this court allowed the use of involuntary statements to impeach a defendant's false or inconsistent testimony. So, a confession that's found to be involuntary in the sense that it was not the product of free will of the defendant cannot be used by the state for purposes of trial. We find the statements made after he was taken into custody were not the product of his free will. And similarly, the consent exception to the Fourth Amendment about the search and seizure, he said he did not want to be processed further, therefore gave the pants over. So they're saying you can't do that. This is reversed and remanded for a new trial.
And then?
1992, the Supreme Court, he's trying to get it blocked so they can't retry him. The Supreme Court
wants it overturned with prejudice, right?
Yeah, and the Supreme Court unanimously, Supreme Court of West Virginia, unanimously, which is like 4 raccoons and a possum, I believe. The possum's the Chief Justice.
They slap trash can lids together.
They said that they unanimously refused to block the retrial.
Oh.
Smith said that they intend to use the testimony of 2 state policemen whom he alleged perjured themselves in his original conviction. He contends his confession in the case was coerced and blah, blah, blah. So they said it's obvious that that the state trooper in this case gave false testimony under oath in the felony trial of State versus William Smith, the petition said. The physical evidence is overwhelming that he was severely beaten, blah, blah, blah. They said they could try him again, but I don't think they ever did.
Wow.
Because if you can't use the confession, you don't have a case.
It's over. Yeah, it's over.
You can't even get an indictment with that. There's nothing.
And today there's going to be DNA used to try it again, and that may blow up in your face.
That's the other thing. By the 90s, because by the time that was 92, by the time the appeal came around. So from what I understand, he went home. He probably served his 5 years, and then he went home, and I don't think anything ever happened. I do think he killed him, though.
Yeah.
So that's what happened in Hensley, West Virginia.
Stay out of there.
Holy shit, that is a weird...
crazy day.
It's like a drain down there in southwestern West Virginia. That's a crazy fucking day. If you enjoyed that story, tell the world, get on whatever app you're on and tell everybody about it. Give us 5 stars and say something nice. It helps drive us up the charts. It really is awesome. And thank you for posting all of your year wraps with all of our... That's so cool. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. That's great. Like we always say, the best way to spread the show is word of mouth. We can advertise. We can do all that shit. Nobody cares about that. Your friend telling you, dude, you got to check this out. It's fucking funny. That's what gets people to listen.
Best way to spread podcast cheer is screaming it loud for all to hear.
Yes, let's shut up and give me murder out of the car window. That helps. And you might meet a friend that way. You never know.
You might.
So do all that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for the 2023 live tour. The first half of it anyway. The second half of it's going to go on sale early 2023. Tickets on sale right now. February 10th in Cleveland. Get those. They're going fast. February 11th in St. Louis. Those are going insanely fast.
Yeah.
Get those right now. Seattle, March 24th. March 25th in Portland, May 5th in Detroit, May 6th in Pittsburgh. Those are all real sellout places, so get your tickets early on those. Those are all going to sell out. So thank you for getting those the rest of the year. San Diego, Salt Lake City, Denver, Minneapolis, Chicago, Atlanta, Charlotte, Philly, Washington, Milwaukee, Boston, New York, and Phoenix. Those dates will be on sale early 2023. We're very excited. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. Also, you want to go to Patreon.com/crimeandsports. What you get there is all your bonus stuff. Anybody $5 or above, you're going to get everything. Whole back catalog, new episodes every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get access to what? Fucking all of it. Every goddamn drop of it. This week, we're going to talk about the ABA, which was a crazy basketball league in the 70s and 60s. It's where you got the Spurs and Pacers from. Not about the league or any boring shit like that. Just insane stories of individual lunacy from that league at that time. Startup leagues are always fun.
Every time everything's all unorganized, that's when the good stuff happens.
It's so much fun. Yeah, just no rule of law there. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about video games being blamed for murders and some specific instances and everything like that. Check all that out and more. Shut Up and Give Me Murder. No, that's the website. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Right. And of course, you'll get a shout out at the end of the regular show where Jimmy will definitely mispronounce your name. You want to follow us on social media? Super easy to do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Links are all right there. Links to the show as well. We're at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. Thank you so much, everybody. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.